Hi guys, it's Fara, and so for today's video I figured I would kind of talk to you guys about how living in Japan shaped my makeup routine. And it's because I feel like when I first lived in Japan I barely knew how to do my makeup. It was kind of a nightmare. So I feel like living in Japan really influenced me in kind of the makeup techniques and also the products that I use. So I figured I would share that with you guys. So let's get started. So first I want to start with kind of like a primer. Before living in Japan I never used primer, but nowadays if I am going to do foundation I do definitely use primer, and I have two recommendations. I like to use either the Vanilla & Co. Primer Tone Up, and this pink version kind of gives a brightening effect to your face, and then I also like the Clio Precept Pore Primer. This is really good for giving you that glass skin, but for today I think I'm gonna want a little more of a brightening effect, so I'm gonna use this one first. And you can already see it's kind of almost like a sunscreen texture. I specifically like the brightening effect for my under eyes. It really helps, I feel like. A tip that I acquired from not only Japanese makeup and stuff but also skincare is that really give time for your products to kind of sink in, absorb to your face, because if you pile on too much too quick it'll kind of look cakey just because of the liquids and powders mixing and stuff like that. So I always like to give time between each thing. So while I'm waiting for that primer to sink in, I'm just gonna do probably my eyebrows to start. And for me personally, since I got the Persian eyebrows, don't really need to do too much, but I do use this Clio product. It's the Kill Brow Auto Hard Brow Pencil, and I have it in the shade Natural Brown. So it's kind of like a cool tone brown almost. Normally I go for a warm tone, but I recently dyed my hair. I'm trying to get it back to its natural color. So they dyed it a little bit darker in hopes of kind of it lightening over time. So I think for today I'm gonna go for a little more of a cool tone brown. So I like to brush it through and then I'll add the product and then I'll brush it through again, so it kind of blends into place so that you can't really tell I'm wearing any eyebrow product. But yeah, now that we've allowed for the primer to set in, I'm actually going to do my concealer first. And for my concealer, I use the same Cover Perfection Tip Concealer. And then I also like to use a brush as well for that. So I have all my little brushes in this little pack here. I'm going to go for my little concealer brush. It's kind of funny, I don't really know what these products are called until I actually have to look and say it for you guys so you guys know. But I really do like this concealer because I feel like it hides my dark spots pretty nicely. And so I kind of just take a little bit on my brush, and I don't go directly under my eye to start. I kind of go a little bit below, and then when I blend it with my foundation I kind of take it up to the eye. So for now I'm just gonna go kind of where that crease of my eye bag is here, and then I like to dab as well, kind of like that. And then I'll do the other side right here. And I mean, I am by no means a makeup artist, but I feel like if anything that just means it's easy to recreate. If I can do it, you can do it. But I feel like these tips have definitely helped me have a more natural makeup look. The thing that I really like about Japanese makeup trends, they try to give you a natural look, enhance the features that you already have, versus I feel like American makeup is very much about being fierce, bold, this and that, and I feel like that makeup style never suited my face. I feel like my face gets very overwhelmed when I have tons of makeup on, my eyes get overpowered, my face gets overpowered. So I feel like this style of makeup, trying to make you look youthful versus grown up, I feel like that really suits me. So that's why I like it so much. And so for my foundation, I use the Clio Kill Cover, the Glow Foundation. And I think this shade is, yeah, the ginger shade, the fourth one, and it's the darkest shade that they have. So Clio has really awful shade range. I barely fit into the very last shade range. If I'm out in the sun for too long, this is too white. And honestly, it might be too white for me now. We will see. But the way that I apply it, since it's such a thin layer, I feel like it's okay to have it a little bit lighter than your actual skin tone. So we're gonna try it out and see how it is. I feel like the spatula was trending a year or two ago and it's kind of faded away, but I still really like it for when I don't really need too much coverage. When I just want a really light layer of foundation that you can barely notice is on, I go for the spatula. I do also have a foundation brush, and I feel like that's better if I want more coverage, if I want to cover up pimples and uneven spots. But I feel like right now my skin's looking pretty good, so I'm just gonna go with the really light layer. So I kind of put one pump onto my hand like that, and then I take the spatula and I kind of go diagonal, so I get a really small layer of each one. I don't really know how well you can see this, but go in here, and I'm always moving the spatula like this. So it's a really small amount of makeup. And then I start from in of the cheek to outer. And I'm going like this. And I kind of spread it around. A little more towards my eye. And then I'm gonna do it again onto the other side. This time I go out to in, just because that's a little more easier for me, more intuitive. I'm gonna put a little bit on my forehead as well. As you can see, it's looking kind of different from my skin tone, but just wait, it's gonna blend beautifully. And the brush I'm going to use to blend is actually from my Clio Cushion Foundation. I just take the little sponge and I just kind of dab it around. I'm gonna bring it in closer to my eye with the concealer. Here it is all kind of patted out, and so I look kind of very monotone in color, which we're going to fix by adding blush and as well as some contour. Okay, and then I'm gonna let this absorb into my face before I put on any setting powder. So while I wait for that, I'm actually gonna do my eyeshadow. So for my eyeshadow, I use a Desique palette. I'm not 100% sure on the name of the palette, but I think it's like the Mood eyeshadow palette, something like that. I have the one that has a lot of pink and brown tones, and I just find that that kind of suits my skin and my features the best. I'm gonna start with the lightest shade right here. I'm just gonna put that all over my eyes, especially in the inner corner. That's how that looks. It's looking very white right now. But after that, I'm gonna do the next lightest shade, which also has a little bit of glitter. So I'm gonna apply that kind of more towards the middle. Okay, and then I'm gonna take this shade right here. Just kind of go in the outer corner. This is more of like a tan shade. Repeat on the other side. Okay, so it's looking like this. And then sometimes I'll take a pink shade to kind of blend it in. I think I'm gonna do that today just because I am wearing pink. So I'm gonna go with this more coral shade here. I'm gonna go kind of more towards my waterline. All right, and then I'm gonna take this shade right here. And I like to kind of do like the upper corner there, as well as inside, kind of closer to my nose bridge, to kind of create some dimension, I guess. This kind of circly brush, which is good for kind of like point makeup. I'm gonna go right into that corner of my eye, and a little bit in towards the center. I feel like what I really like about Asian eyeshadow palettes is that they think of a like specific makeup look and they give you all the shades for that kind of look. Like all of these colors are meant for you to use together to go like from a light color to a dark color towards the end of your eye. Even with like the CanMake brand, like the drugstore makeup brand of Japan, like they have like 4 shadows and they're just meant to complete like one makeup look, which I kind of like because you can kind of just use one palette and it'll have everything. Lastly, we're gonna take this darkest color and again go in the corner of the eye, except I'm not gonna spread it as much. Kind of before I was going like in and out, but now I'm just staying in that corner to emphasize that corner. All right, and then now I'm gonna change my brush again to this thinner one here, and I'm gonna dab it into that same shade. And now I'm gonna kind of line my waterline a little bit. I forgot a step. So I've been trying to do kind of like my Aegyo style, I guess, for my under eye makeup. So I'll take like that same white shade that we first started with, and then I kind of do like smiling eyes, and then I just put that white shade on that smile eye fat, kind of right in here, and I'll kind of spread it all along, and then I'll repeat, but I'll stay more in the center to kind of focus the attention on the center of my eye. Okay, and then from there, I will take my makeup brush again, and I'll go kind of like in of the eye, and just go straight out. Repeat on the other side. And this is usually the part of my makeup routine where my eye gets really watery. So if this eye starts to tear up, it's just sensitive eye things, don't even worry. Okay, and so I'm gonna pause on the eye makeup for a bit, and I'm actually gonna put on my setting powder. And so for this, I'm using the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder and kind of focus on the under eye, but then I branch out to the rest of my face as well. Okay, this is how it's looking so far. Okay, it's looking a little jump scare right now, but just trust the process. This is still kind of like a learning curve for me, and lately I've been using my Heroin Make mascara, but honestly, the tip feels a little thick for me, so I'm gonna actually open up this new one that I found in Japan called the Love Liner Liquid. I'm gonna try this one out today. It's in the shade brown, so I'm gonna try using this. I'm a little scared. I'm gonna try to make a little more of a downturned. So I just kind of followed my waterline, and then now I'm gonna extend downward. Make it a little bit more defined. Okay, so it looks like that. I feel like it looks really good. And it kind of makes my eyes look a little bit bigger, which I always love. Okay, now we're gonna do the other side. Does anyone else just have like one eye that's substantially easier? Like how the way my eye wrinkles, it's like, it gives me a clear path to where I need to go. Ta-da! So it's kind of a little more downturned. I feel like it looks really nice. I feel like you don't see that too much with like American Beauty, which is another thing that I like about J Beauty, you know, just how it kind of gives like a doe eye look rather than like, I feel like American makeup is very like cat eye and like cinching up the eye, if that makes sense. Next, I'm gonna do my kind of like my blush, my contour, just like some added face makeup things. I think I'm actually gonna start with my contour. I have the Etude House contour powder, and then I think this is the warm tone version. So it has 2 shades, a lighter one and a darker one. I think since I am more tan than the average Japanese girl, I always just use like only the darker shade just because that stands out more on me. So I'm gonna take that with my little contour brush here, and then I'm gonna kind of squeeze my cheeks in, and I'm gonna go out, bring it back in, and then jawline. Just like that. And then I kind of highlight a little more on the cheekbone. And then I go up, get some more powder, go over the forehead. And then I'm gonna also put some on my nose, just a tiny bit. And just right in here. And I typically like to draw the nose tip a little bit higher than it actually is, just to kind of give that illusion. Up here. Into the eyebrow. Kind of blend it out a little bit. And I'm also going to put a little bit of the lighter shade under the Ego cell. So I'm going to do the smiling eye again, this. Then I'm going to go under the crevice very lightly. I don't really like to have a defined line under the Ego cell. I feel like it does help it make it stand out more, but to me I feel like I just look a little bit weird. Like when I see it on other people it looks more natural, but when I do it I'm like, oh. We are done with the contour, and then we're going to do the blush next. So I have another Dayzique palette. This is the Dayzique Blending Mood Cheek, and it has 4 different shades, which I really like because, again, kind of like the eyeshadow, you can use all 4 colors. And I typically use this brightest color, and then maybe this one, and then the darkest one. Go for the lightest color, and I go directly under my eye. And I'll do normally like 2 layers. And then I'll do that next shade, go from like kind of mid-cheek outward toward my eyebrow, along that cheekbone, onto the other side. And depending on your face shape, you might have different blush patterns that work best for you. I feel like my face shape is kind of heart-shaped, so I think most like blush styles suit it, but I'm gonna kind of go for a little more of like an upper, like a facelift almost blush placement. I'm kind of using the colors to help me with that. And then I'm gonna use that darkest color for kind of like tip of the cheekbone up to the temple. Right here. Right there. Okay. And then blush is done. And then I'm going to set that again with the NARS powder. And so since these are both powder, like the contour, foundation, and then also the setting powder, I feel a little bit better about just doing it immediately after. Last step for the face makeup is going to be the highlighter. And so this highlighter is called Glint by Vidivov. I have like no idea what this name is. It's called VDIDOV. I've never heard of this brand, and I went to a Plaza store in Japan and I did like a sample of it. After I tried it in the store, I just felt like the sparkle was so nice and I had to have it. So it's in this kind of like warm toned pink color. I take this really thin black feathery brush that's like really kind of bendable, I guess you could say, and I dip it into the powder and I go inner corner and then below and above. Then I also take a little bit more, do the smiling eye thing again for my eggo style, and I just put it only in the middle. And I've learned this tip also, I think it was like Won Young's makeup artist, like Won Young from IVE, and they said like, you know, if you put it in the middle of your eye, it makes your like pupil pop, kind of like your actual eyeball pop, and makes your eyes look bigger. So I've been doing that since I heard it, and I also put a little bit more under my eyebrow. And I'm just gonna repeat on the other side. And then I also use my finger and put it kind of on the tip of my nose as well as in the middle of the nose bridge. And I'll do another layer, tip of the nose, and then nose bridge. To kind of look like that. And then I'm also gonna put some on my cheekbone. So I use this brush here. Dab it in and I just go up there, more up onto the other side. Next, we are going to do lips. So here I have 3CE Style Nanda's. It's like a mood water tint, blur water tint, something like that. I'll put the name on the side here, but this is in the shade Single Cherry, and I'm actually about to run out of this. This is normally a really dark red shade. And what I would always do is I would take it and I'll kind of dab the side of it so it's a more kind of diluted version of it. So I'm gonna add that here. And I kind of go here. And so since my lips are really small, I kind of overline a little bit. So I'd overline on the bottom lip and then also on the top middle. And then when I blend it together between my two lips, I kind of like overestimate it, if that makes sense. So I'll kind of smudge it to be like a little bit above my lip. Kind of like that. And then after that's done, I'll kind of dab it in. Like this. Looks cute, right? I also have another lip gloss that I put on top of this, but I'm gonna let this kind of sink in for a little bit. And while we wait for that, I'm gonna do my mascara. So I'm gonna curl my lashes. I just curl them for about like 10 seconds or so. My mascara also has 2 steps. So I'm gonna take my Romand Hand All Lash Serum and I apply that first. And this is like a serum just for like your eyelash growth, I believe, but it's also a good beginning step for like your mascara. While I wait for the eyelash serum to set in, I'm gonna go back to the lips and I want to show you guys like one of my holy grail lip products, which is actually the Romand Lasting Water Gloss in the shade Meteor Track. And when I went to Japan just for vacation recently, I bought like 3 packs of these, and I think this is like my last pack. So I just recently finished one of mine and then now I have to open up a new one. But I really love this product. I use it every day, so I really wanted to show you guys. Straight out of the container, it's just like really glittery on the inside, and it's just like a great top layer to any lip combo, and it also has a plumping effect, which is perfect if you have teeny tiny lips like me. And this looks like that. It's a little shimmer to the lips. And then for my mascara, I use the Roman Hand All Fix mascara. And this is in the brown shade, and this is honestly my favorite mascara like in the world that I've ever tried. So I really, really recommend this because it's a really creamy formula. And you know how like when you do your mascara and then after a while just feel like really clumpy and dry? I feel like that never happens with this, and it's just like a very natural looking mascara. Because I also don't like it when my lashes look like super long, but then they're just like really scraggly and just like clumpy, and I don't really like that look. So this mascara is great for that like natural elongating lash look, which you'll see in a second. So I just kind of dab upward, which is another thing that I've learned from Asian beauty. Instead of going like this way, I go up. That way your lashes can kind of clump together a little bit. And then I go just downward on the bottom lashes. I know that a lot of people in Japan are a big fan of the Heroin Make mascara. I bought it and I tried it, and honestly I'm not a huge fan because it does elongate your lashes really well, but it just feels really heavy and clumpy, and I don't know. I feel like it's not for me. I feel like if you have really tiny lashes, and that is a great choice for you because then it will make your lashes look a lot longer. But I think this also does that as well, with just a better, creamier formula. And then for the last step, I actually use a little bit more highlighter, and I put it kind of in the cupid's bow of my lip. I just put a little bit on my finger, and dab it like that. And then we are all done. This is the finished product here, which I don't know, I think it's really cute. I feel like it kind of sticks to the Japanese way of doing makeup in the sense of just like looking youthful and kind of looking bright and enhancing your features without overpowering them. And it definitely depends on like how your face is structured, because some people have like a very strong visual appearance. I don't know how to explain it. There was like a word for it on TikTok where it's like, if you have, you know, very strong eyes, very strong sharp features, then you can your face can kind of handle a little bit more intense makeup. But for me, since I think my features are pretty soft, like more natural and lighter makeup suits me more. So I feel like having this downturned makeup style and then the very light shades and the really pink shades, I feel like it adds a lot to me and just enhancing my natural features. I feel like I'm not changing anything about them. I'm just kind of making them more noticeable in the ways I like. I feel like my eyes are already kind of round and doe-eyed, so I'm just kind of enhancing that. It's all about figuring what works best for you and what colors look best on you and what enhances your features without overpowering them. And I feel like that's a lot of what I learned when I lived in Japan. In America, it's all about like, oh, make your eyes pop, make them fierce, this and that. And then when I tried that, I feel like my face got overwhelmed and like my face harmony was out of whack. So I feel like kind of suiting the makeup style to your features is gonna go a long way in determining what looks best for you and what makes you kind of shine a little bit more and complement your face. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something and got some great product recommendations. I wholeheartedly recommend every product that I used today. Yeah, a lot of Clio products, a lot of Roman product, and a lot of Desique products. Definitely what I've been sticking to for the majority of the past year. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you in my next video, and comment down below if you have any questions. I always love answering you guys. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!